Howdy, Jim Hartley with Idaho Defense. So today we're going to cover how to wear the proper wear of the gear for the semi-automatic handgun. And then we'll also talk about the proper grip, just like we did in last week's video on revolver. This week we're going to do the semi-automatic pistols. So today I'm going to be working with my 1911, and then we'll transition over to the Striker Fire XDM 9mm that I have as well. So this is a larger caliber 45 ACP, which I feel is a better gun for carry, but we'll also go to the high cap 9mm and show you how that works as well. So essentially the guns operate very much the same. There are more controls on a 1911 than there are on a Striker Fire gun. So we'll cover the Striker Fire gun in a separate video today that we'll shoot as well. So on the 1911, okay, the wear of the gear is the same. If your mount your eye is your right eye, you'd like to have your gun on your right side, okay? Some people are cross dominant, which is my case, which means I'm left-eyed, but I'm right-handed, okay? So there's not much difference in how you basically stand and hold the gun. There's a slight adjustment that we'll cover, okay? So I want my primary gun on my primary side. So in this case, forget I'm cross dominant, assume that I'm right eye dominant. Okay, I got the gun on my right side. Okay, then I want my magazines on my left side with my other tack gear. Okay, again, we want to be able to drop our hands comfortably to the grip. So we don't want the gun too far forward or too far back. Ideally, I want to basically be able to come up to my shoulders and drop the gun. It should come right down onto the mounter grip. Again, we want the mounter grip, solid grip, out of the holster before presenting the draw. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about the controls on the gun. So on the 1911, in this particular case, I have no magazine. I'm also empty on the chamber, so the gun is safe while I demonstrate. So again, like we did on the revolver, we want the gun as high up in the web of the hand as we can. We don't want to be down here, we want to be all the way up. So again, we talked about the fulcrum of the gun. So we want to be high up so there's less recoil to manage. If I'm down here, I got a lot of whip. So get up high, curl the fingers around naturally, get a medium tight grip. Again, I want the fingers to line up. My trigger finger should fall naturally on the trigger, either on the pad or on the first joint. So in this case, I'm on the pad. Okay? Controls on the 1911. So you're going to have a grip safety and a thumb safety. In order to manipulate anything on the gun, the thumb safety must be in a down position in order for me to manipulate the slide. So on loading and unloading the gun, you must have the safety in the down or off position, okay? The grip safety will come off with a natural grip. The grip safety takes care of itself. Okay, so you have three major safeties on the gun. You've got the grip safety. So if I don't get a good grip on the gun and the thumb safety is down, the hammer should not fall, okay? If I have the thumb safety on and a good grip, the hammer should not fall, so two major safeties. And it's got a breech safety. So if you get too far, if you manage to jam this against something and you get half cocked, it also will not fire, okay? We're not allowed a disconnector to disengage the sear. So three major safeties on the gun. In addition to that, we're also going to have a magazine release, and we have a slide stop. So in the last round, the magazine follower should push up on the slide stop and lock your slide back, okay? If you're handling the gun unloaded and you want to hand it safely to somebody, just make sure the magazine is out first, okay? Make sure it's unloaded by checking the chamber, lock the slide back with the slide lock, inspect the chamber, and then you can hand the gun to somebody with the barrel facing away for them to manipulate, okay? So bear in mind the safeties. So there are more to worry about with the 1911 in that you got a few more safeties on the gun. When you shoot a 1911 and up, they all become automatic. Okay, it all goes into muscle memory, okay? So you'll see when we do the Striker Fire videos, there's less in the way of safeties, okay? But the 1911 can be carried cocked and locked, fully loaded, all day long safely. As long as you got the thumb safety on and in a proper holster, the gun is safe to carry in the cocked and locked position and should be carried in the cocked and locked position, designed to be carried that way. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run you through the draw mechanics. Okay, and then loading and unloading. And then we'll cut this video and I'll show you some shooting. Okay. So in that case, I'm pointing downrange. There's 2 downrange sections to this range. Okay, so I'm pointed downrange. There's nobody in front of me off to my 180 degree while I manipulate the gun. Okay. So in order to load the 1911, you're going to get that good primary grip. Come straight up as though we're drawing. Roll over and bring the gun out. You want to cant it slightly, okay, so that you have the mag well presentable to your other side. So I'll turn around. Okay, so it's up, out, and slightly cocked. Okay, you're going to want to have the safety off. Acquire your magazine from the magazine pouch. Index the bullet with your index finger. Guide into the mag well and snap it. Roll the gun and rack it. Okay, notice I had to have the safety off to rack the slide. Okay, now we put the safety on and we can holster up. So one other thing I want to present is notice my index finger is not in the trigger guard during any of this motion. Okay, keep your finger out of the trigger guard until you're ready to shoot. So on loading and unloading, we want it along the frame. Okay, safety on, come back and holster up. Okay, so that's the proper way to present the gun for loading. To unload, we just reverse the steps. So the loading device on your gun is your magazine. So you want this out of the gun before we rack the round out of the chamber, okay? So I will do it right the first time. Okay, so we're going to come on up. I want to basically drop the magazine. So when we're in a fight, we're not going to go handle the magazine. We're going to let the magazine drop. So I'm going to hit the magazine release on the gun. Slightly cant it, drop the magazine, let it fall on the ground. Okay, now we're going to roll. Safety off, and I want my hand on the back of the gun with the thumb towards me, major muscle group, rack the slide, rack it a couple of times, and then if we're in a situation where we can point it down range safely and press the trigger, we'll decock the gun. Okay, then we're going to come up back and holster up, and then after we holster up, we can pick up our empty magazine, and pick up my round. That's the unloading sequence. So, once we drop a round on the ground, or any magazines, we don't touch it until we get the gun secured on our side. Okay, unloaded, secured, then we can go around reaching on the ground for things, okay? So that's very important for safety. But when you pick up your round off the ground, it's important to make sure there's no grit on the round you dropped when you unloaded. And you also want to check the first couple rounds in your magazine the same way, and then you can reload your magazines. So to reload your magazines, you're going to put that way, press down on the thumb, press down and push back. Okay, once you got your magazine loaded, you can put it back in your pouch. Okay, so that's the basics of the grip, the basics of loading and unloading. Now we're going to show you the basics of shooting.